Hi, this is Miss Sabatelli, and in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about facts and opinions. Our essential question that we're asking today is, how does a good reader know the difference between fact and opinion? Well, today we're going to answer that question by determining the difference between the two, the facts and the opinions, and identifying key words to look for when we're reading a text. In order to determine what a fact is, we need to know some things about facts. Facts are true statements. They're objective. What that means is there's no feelings involved when we're talking about the facts. It just states reality, what you can see and what you can hear and what you can do. Facts can be verified or proven, and they're presented with unbiased words. Biased words are words of feeling or judgment, and we'll be talking about those a little later on in this lesson. Here is a factual statement. This is a bowl of dry cereal. We can see the cereal and it doesn't have any milk on it. If we had the bowl in front of us, we can prove that it's dry cereal by touching it and feeling that it isn't wet. Some facts never change, but some facts can change. We can change the fact that this is dry cereal by pouring milk on it. That would change our fact to this is a bowl of wet cereal. So some facts can change depending on the situation, but they can always be proven. Now that we know more about facts, let's determine what opinions are. An opinion is a statement that tells what someone thinks. That's different from a fact, because a fact just states reality. Opinion interprets reality. That means, what do you think about the bowl of cereal? Here we have our example. This is the best tasting cereal. We've gone from a fact, this is a bowl of dry cereal, to explaining what we think or feel about the cereal. Opinions cannot be verified. That means they can't be proven. It's hard to prove that this is the best tasting cereal. We'd have to eat a lot of cereal to prove it. Opinions are presented with biased words. Here we have the word best. That would change the fact that it's cereal and make it an opinion about the way it tastes. Opinions can always change. When we talked about fact and opinion, I mentioned biased words. Biased words express opinions, value judgments, and they make interpretations. They're often full of emotions. Take a look at some of the biased words on this chart. Awful, amazing, bad, beautiful, best, better, disgusting, exciting. All of these different bias words and many more give us a clue that is what a person is thinking and feeling, because we all have different perspectives. What I think is awful might be different for you. I might say Brussels sprouts are awful. You might agree with me. But your neighbor might say, I love Brussels sprouts. That's why this is a biased word, because people can have different opinions as to what is awful. Some other good words to look out for when we're determining fact and opinion are qualifying words. These are clues that authors give us when they're sharing an opinion. Words like all, always, appear, believe. Also want to look for never, often, only, and ought to. These qualifying words are really hard to prove. When I say I never get to sleep at night, I'm giving my opinion, not really stating a fact. Now that we know more about fact and opinion and what to look for when determining which is fact and which is opinion, let's try it out on these two statements. Candy Crush is available for Apple and Android. The second statement says, Candy Crush is the most entertaining app on the market. Think about which one is a fact and which one is an opinion. Did you guess that Candy Crush is the most entertaining app on the market is an opinion? If you did, then you guessed right. The word most gives us the clue that this is an opinion. Most is a qualifying word. It's pretty hard to prove that Candy Crush is the most entertaining. Candy Crush is available for Apple and Android is a fact. That is something we can prove by downloading the app in an Apple device and downloading the app on an Android device. Let's take a look at one more example and see if we can pick out the fact from the opinion. The statement on the left says, a spinning class is a group exercise program of about 45 minutes of riding on a stationary bike. That sounds like a fact to me. It doesn't use any qualifying words. Let's take a look at the statement on the right. Spinning classes are indoor group bike rides led by an awesome instructor who sets the pace and degree of difficulty of the rides. In this statement, we're getting some information about what a spinning class is. It's an indoor group ride, has awesome instructors, and it sets the instructors set the degree of difficulty and the pace of the ride. While it contains some facts, this qualifying word, awesome, leads us to believe that this is an opinion. Maybe not all of the instructors are awesome, and it's hard to prove. It is the author's opinion. Let's wrap things up by asking ourselves the essential question. How does a good reader know the difference between fact and opinion? A fact is a true statement. It states reality in what's happening. An opinion gives us someone's ideas, thoughts, and feelings about reality. Don't forget to look for key words like bias words and qualifying words when determining an opinion and how it's different from a fact.